Good. Hello, guys. So it's Friday, and you guys are going to be working in kind of a new unit on Amplify. So it'll be sub-unit 4 instead of sub-unit 3. So that is still in the Red Scarf Girl section, and then it is the sub-unit 4, and then you'll just do lesson 1. And I will share my screen and show you guys how to get there, and then we'll talk through what you guys are going to do today in class. Okay. So since I'm not there to start class, you're going to be in Red Scarf Girl and narrative. You're working on the narrative part of this now. So instead of subunit 3 like we're used to, you're going down to subunit 4, write an essay. And lesson 1, focus on the body paragraph. So we're going to break this essay down that you're going to be doing over the course of the next 4 days. First activity for you is your vocab activity. There's a video to go with this one. So I'm going to play the video. You can watch it and then you can work on answering the questions.
Today's word, idealist. I-D-E-A-L-I-S-T. Idealist. Part of speech, noun. As an idealist, Martin Luther King Jr. was a leader in the civil rights movement and believed in equality for all. That's because an idealist is someone who aims for or stands by high standards or principles. Although many thought his dream was unrealistic, Martin Luther King Jr. was an idealist who would not compromise his beliefs. Idealist, someone who aims for or stands by high standards or principles.
Okay, so you have questions, the sentence, pick the sentence correctly to work through on your vocab. You're going to skip activity 2 and go to activity 3. So you have the prologue, okay? And if you remember at the beginning of the prologue, she talks about how lucky and happy and everything was great until that fateful year, 1966, and the Cultural Revolution started. So what you're going to do, add a note to the prologue to summarize what you noticed about Geely at this point in the memoir, like her attitude, her personality, what she was like. Skim through the text to find 3 additional moments from the memoir where you remember Geely's thoughts or actions most vividly. So what stands out to you? You have different chapters you can look through. What stands out to you from what happened in the story? And you would highlight just 3 moments in the text. And then add a note to each highlight to describe what you noticed most about Geely in that moment and describe any change you notice in her. We're doing this so that when you have to do your writing here in a little bit on activity 5, it's easier for you to go into the text and find those moments. So take the time right now to go through this text and highlight those 3 additional moments in the memoir that you really remember, that really stand out for you that Geely either thought or did. And then 1 or 2 sentences, draft a claim to describe 1 change that you notice in Geely as a result of her experiences. So just a claim being like a thesis statement, kind of what your thoughts are to her change and how she changes as a result of those experiences that she's gone through in this story. Okay, so after you've finished activity 3, and it's going to take a little bit of time. This is kind of like the front work that you do and take the time on now so that when you go to do your essay, it goes faster. So spend the time on activity 3 that you need to spend on it, okay? Because there's not much more after this other than the writing. So you have plenty of time today to do that. So you're writing. So you have an essay prompt here that you're going to read. It's from the prologue. Actually, I think they pick a lot of the chapters again. You're going to choose 1 moment from the text that shows what Geely was like before she changed before the Cultural Revolution came in and upheaved her life. Use details from this moment to describe what Ji Li was like before that change, okay? You can also use the text in the library if you don't want to scroll through this and have like the 2 tabs open that you're going back and forth. But if you did the highlighting, stick with this text because you can use the highlighting to find your spots. So you'll type, how does Ji Li change over the course of her story? I'm gonna move my little picture out of the way. Okay, and then activity 5 is just a review, okay? So read through the text and then answer the 2 questions. What is one detail the writer selects from the book to show how Ji Lang was before her change? And then how many sentences does the writer use to describe what she thinks about this detail? So this can be just a number. And the first box needs to be a sentence. And then your last thing that you're going to work on today. So you're going to add one more paragraph to your writing. You're going to find one place where you used a detail or quote to show what Ji Li was like. Can't say her name today. And then add 2 or 3 more sentences that describe what you noticed about that detail or quote. Okay? So you're adding 2. You guys did great when we did this last time. This is taking the text that you already wrote and adding some more details into it. It really helped focus your writing and it really helped your writing scores. And remember, Amplify does automatically score some of this for you. I go back in and make changes, but it does automatically shoot out a score for you guys. So work on punctuation. It's looking to make sure that you capitalize the beginning of your sentences in proper nouns. It's looking to make sure that you had punctuation, commas, periods at the end of the sentences, paragraphs are indented. You do some of that stuff, and that's really going to help you with that conventions grade that Amplify gives you guys. When you are all finished and your writing is great and wonderful, you can hand it in, and that should be it. So I foresee this taking all of the class time today, Friday, but you shouldn't have any homework to work on. Also, don't forget to turn in your grammar subunit 1 lesson 2 that I assigned on Monday that's due today. So I guess if you have extra time, you can make sure you get that finished up and turn that in. And then I will see you guys Monday after fall break. I hope you have an awesome time with Mrs. Myers. Stop sharing here.